Em 1992, eu estava aqui no Tuca, nesse teatro em São Paulo, recebendo meu diploma de jornalismo. Eu estou aqui ao lado do TALESE, que é um dos maiores jornalistas do mundo, então vocês devem imaginar como eu estou feliz e como eu estou honrada de estar o entrevistando neste momento. Eu vou começar com uma pergunta sobre mulheres, que é algo que me interessa particularmente e vem acontecendo, esse fenômeno das mulheres estarem invadindo esse terreno da comunicação. What women can add in this new journalism?
Women bring their sensibility to this journalism, whether it's your form of television journalism or print media or radio. The reason women are affecting the news now, as they never before did, is because women are in command positions. For example, when I started out 40 years ago, there were no women who made any difference with regard to how you cover the news. When I was a young journalist, the President of the United States was John Kennedy. Now, John Kennedy was having a lot of sexual affairs when he was president, married to the beautiful Jackie, but he still had sexual affairs. Marilyn Monroe, many others. I was a reporter then. We never covered that. That was never discussed in public. It was private. We all knew it. The reason it was not discussed very much then, because only men determined what was in the newspapers or in television. Now, I speak to you in 2012. Women are in newspapers, are in magazines, are on television, or directors of television. They are on radio, they're everywhere. Now, if men who are president have sexual deviation, if they have affairs with somebody, if they have a mistress, this is big news. When women had no power, this was what men did in private was not news. But now women are directors of television, and they make it newsworthy. Why? Because women are offended by men who have power and yet seem to be irresponsible with regard to their marriages. And women are offended, and what happens? It becomes a news story. As you know, in America, we have scandals now involving public figures. John Edwards is maybe not a big name here in Brazil, but he was going to run for president, and now discovered he had a mistress, and he has an illegitimate child. This is a big scandal. It's a court case right now. Why? Women do this. Men used to have freedom to be bad if they wanted to be bad, as long as they were good at what their job was. If there was a good president, whether they had a mistress on the side was considered private. But when more and more women got educated, they went into journalism, they became lawyers, they became judges. They determined what was proper and not proper behavior. Do you follow me?
Yes,
so
I'm following you.
It's a big difference. There's nothing. In my long career in journalism,
great.
I think well, you think it's great. A lot of people don't think it's great. Men don't think it's great. Women think it's great.
You don't think it's great?
I think sometimes that a very good political figure or leader, that sometimes their private life is maybe a miserable married man, but because he has a good-looking mistress, he might perform better. For example, this is not about politics, but you know who Tiger Woods is? You know the golfer Tiger Woods? You've heard of him?
I know, of course.
He was a great golfer.
And now?
And then they discovered he had girlfriends all over there. He never was able to play golf as well. You notice that true?
Yes.
What's the matter with you?
In your theory, the art of hanging out, you say the journalists stay too much inside the newsroom. I want you to explain exactly what you mean.
When I walk into a newsroom today, whether it's in the United States or in China, I've been in newsrooms in China. They're very quiet, the newsrooms, and what I see are reporters behind a laptop, behind a screen, and they're looking at the screen, and sometimes they're Googling or doing something that gets information to them, and they spend their whole day behind the screen, maybe typing and communicating and getting information technology through the internet, and they don't seem to go outside very much. When I was a reporter 50 years ago when I started, we wanted to be outside. I still believe that I don't want to be in a room. Sometimes you get a lot of information with ease, with speed and ease through the technology. But what you get is what you're looking for. And that's important what I said, but let me explain. Today, journalism is very goal-oriented. It's very direct. It's linear. There's a line. You want something, push a button, you get the answer. That's bad. You don't want the answer, and you don't want to think that you know in advance what you want. There should be more exploration, more adventure, wandering around, not being so orderly, not being so goal-oriented. You don't have to explain goal-oriented. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is the trouble today with journalism. They have a certain idea of what they want. They find it, or they push buttons and the information comes in and they write. They get one side and they get the only side that their imagination saw it. But there's not the discovery, the sense of discovery, the novelty sometimes of new things that you didn't want, you didn't even know were there. And you came upon them almost by accident, because you're moving along and you're seeing things and you're open to new impressions. I think journalism become a little sterile. You know what I mean? Sterile. I'm afraid this is...
Do you use the internet?
No.
No? But do you think internet is good?
Well, you know, in a way it is good. For example, if I want to know what is the third largest city in Brazil, so I punch in Brazil. What's the third largest city? Okay, how many people live there? Internet, give me that. Now, of course, I would want to know, if I went to the third largest city, I would go to the third largest city in Brazil. And I would spend some time so I knew what the third largest city in Brazil is like. The internet gives me, in 2 seconds, I can find out what is the third largest city in Brazil. And it says, and the crop, and the industry there, and it has many students, its mayors this and its sub-mayors. You get basic information. But you really don't get anything until you go to the place. In my theory of journalism, for journalism, you have to go. You have to get away from that laptop, get away from that room. Walk outside, get on an airplane, get on a bus, get on a train or a bicycle and go somewhere. Don't get stuck in a room, because even you get all the answers on the internet, but you don't get the feeling. That's the only, you get first-hand experience is what I believe.
Do you think a person born reporter, or they can become a reporter?
The only thing that you have to be a reporter, to be a good reporter, is curiosity.
Yes, good.
Curiosity. And then the second thing you need, you can't be lazy. You have to go out and indulge your curiosity. You have to follow your curiosity to where you think you can satisfy your curiosity by knowing what you don't know and learning what you don't know and reporting what you don't know in a with a great large sense of story, a large sense of picture, visual sense, not the narrow laptop. You know, you got to get the big world, get a sense of the big world. Third largest city in Brazil. What is it like? Go there. No matter where it is, you should go there.
What do you think are the good points about this new journalism nowadays?
Well, the good points are that you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot by using the internet, because it's global. You can, for example, Syria now has been in the news for about a month. And from the internet, you could probably find out what is the military situation. You can learn about how the world is challenging the Syrian government and restricting diplomats and sending some diplomats away from countries. That's basic information. But I don't really know, from all the internet, I don't know the story of Syria. Now, Syria's the big news. It's in your papers in Brazil,
Yes.
it's in New York, it's in Moscow, it's in China. I still don't know what I want to know. Why?
What's really happening?
Here's what I don't want to know. What I want to know, and I'm never getting the information from the internet or from any place, on television, CNN's not telling me anything. I want to know, in the case of the government of Assad, the opposition that wants to drive him out of office. I don't know who the opposition is. It's not a bunch of students waving, throwing like in Palestine, that the kids are throwing rocks at Israeli military people. I know that, but I don't know who these people are that are opposing Assad and that are causing such turmoil that the government army, tanks, and all the big guns are shooting. Now, all we know is what the newspapers are telling us, that 135 people were killed, and 16 of them were children under the age of 10, and 50 of them were women, blah, 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 blah. What I think is going on is in the government, there is also a kind of mutiny in which soldiers who formerly were in the army under the Assad government have broken away and have another army. So you have two armies competing, one of them trying to dislodge the government, Assad, right? Send him to The Hague, war crimes, hang him up like Gaddafi or like Saddam Hussein. But what I don't know, are there foreigners that are in the opposition? I've heard sometimes you hear these are Al-Qaeda, but I still don't know what is the composition of the rebel forces who are opposing the military force of the government under Assad. I don't know. Reporters are not telling us. It's like they're politicizing this story. They very much want Assad out. I know that. That's why they wanted Libya out. And there's something I don't know.
Do you think there is something in common from 2003 in Iraq?
Yeah, 2003 was a case of the military. The internet didn't help. Reporting was terrible in 2003. It was better when I was young. We had in Vietnam, the reporting was, when America was fighting a war in Vietnam, the reporting, in the United States at least, was better. Why? The reporters challenged the American government. American reporters challenged the American government. People like David Halberstam and Harrison Salisbury. These are people who don't mean anything to Brazilian audience, but they're big names in journalism in the United States. In Iraq, 2003, we invaded Iraq. The reporters, first of all, bought the lies of the American government that we had weapons of mass destruction. They accepted this military, the American military assessment, said we have weapons, therefore we have to invade, and Saddam Hussein, we has to be driven from power. Saddam Hussein didn't cause 9/11. Saddam Hussein, Iraq didn't bomb the World Trade Center in Manhattan. But still, because the media, the newspapers were manipulated by the Defense Department of the United States, by the Bush administration of the United States, by Condoleezza Rice, by Vice President Cheney, by, of course, President Bush, and by the lobby, the pro-war lobby, the Israeli lobby. Everybody wanted war, and they got it, too. We got it. So we go in there in 2003. Then what happens? We cover as if this war is being won. It's going to be easy. And even the President of the United States, Bush, said, mission accomplished. All these lies. The press didn't capture the American government at a time of lying. They exaggerated, they falsified. Thousands of people were killed, Iraqis in great numbers, and American soldiers, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 of them, killed for what? For nothing. And the press is responsible. This so-called international, the technology, how wonderful we can get information. It wasn't wonderful, it was terrible. It was better when we didn't have the internet, because in Vietnam, our government was shown to be, or the American government, was shown to be deceitful. This government under Bush and even under Obama today in Pakistan and Afghanistan, the press isn't covering, they're not covering the war. What, do we have any heroes in journalism today? 2012, are there any heroes in journalism? Zero. They're not, why? Because they don't tell you what they only give you one side, and they're feeding into the government's propaganda. This is the problem with American journalism. Maybe it's a problem with journalism all over the world. I
think they're all over the world.
No, don't get me started then.
And what issues would you consider a great story in Brazil?
Great story in Brazil? I think the story in Brazil should focus on the young people of Brazil, because for some reason, I've only been here for a few days, so don't quote me, but the people of Brazil, particularly the young people that I've met, college-age people, are living a better life than people of the similar age in the United States. I've heard some people tell me they have a job and they're going to quit their job because they're not so happy with their job. I think it's amazing, because in the city I come from, New York, I don't hear anybody saying they're quit a job. That they have a job, they may not be happy, because not everybody's happy with their job.
They need a job.
But they need a job. These people in Brazil I said, how can they be putting these jobs? Well, the economy seems to be, for some reason, and I darn well can't figure out why, there seems to be a kind of solvence. There seems to be a kind of stability here. And maybe I'm sounding like some propagandist for the administration. I'm not. I don't even know who's who around Brazil. But I see, look, I'm only in Sao Paulo. You know, I'm not going to the farmlands.
Our unemployment is going down.
Is it going? Unemployment.
It's coming down.
Unemployment. So it's good.
It's good.
That's one of the few places in this that I've heard of that is going down. It's going up in the United States.
Do you believe the newspaper is going to finish? Because since I'm a young student, they say the newspaper is going to finish, is going to end.
Don't believe
no.
Don't believe
what do you believe is going to happen?
When I was young like you, I heard that, well, when I was really young, it was 1950 something. Oh, television is going to destroy newspapers because who wants to read a newspaper tomorrow when you can get the same news tonight with the pictures on television? So television is going to destroy radio. We still have radio. You know
yes.
That? Television
yes.
didn't, but I used to, television, radio, why should you listen to radio? You have about television with pictures. Crazy. As long as journalism, meaning print journalism, any kind of journalism, picture journalism, is a high quality, high standards, does a good job, I think it'll survive.
My last question is, your new projects, do you plan to write another book? You have 12 books.
I do have, I'm working on a book now. Most of what I do, it's journalism, it's true, but it's personal. I like to write about personal life. And right now, I'm writing about my marriage. It's 50 years. I kept records all my 50 years plus. I was married in 1959, so more than 50 years. I've kept records. It's like a personal report within a home, within a marriage, over a 50-year span, from 1959 to 2009. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, very nice.
When I'm finished, I'll let you know.
Very nice. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
I want you to autograph a book for me.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.